cruise lights, the low candle power, steady burn lamp inside of strobe lights, usually older strobe lights. Although they were available on Whelen Strobes until LEDs took over, and now it's an LED feature where there's a low brightness steady burn behind a flashing light source. More specifically, though, what do we do, or what would happen if we flashed the cruise lights? I did a previous video, which I'll link below, about an unusual senior strobe that I got a hold of, which is on the left here, where there was an additional flashing incandescent lamp added to the beacon, in addition to the normal cruise lamps, which in that one there were two cruise lamps. Sometimes there's one. A lot of the comments I got, both on YouTube and off YouTube, were, why not just use a dual filament bulb and use the same bulb for the cruise light and the flashing lamp? Why add a whole nother lamp? Well, I don't know why the people that did it to the first one did it, because I didn't do it. But I did make the second example, which is on the right, and I simply just used a dual filamented incandescent lamp. The dimmer filament, or lower wattage filament, acts as the cruise lamp, and the higher wattage filament acts as the flashing lamp. They're switchable independently, and essentially we're doing the same thing that the other beacon is doing, just with a single bulb. I also could have done this in a dual cruise lamp model and done it to both or one cruise light. Because the domes on these are directional and focused towards the front, and the cruise lamp in this model is in the rear, that does affect it a little bit, but I chose to do it this way because the flashing lamp in the other beacon was to the rear. So I thought this would be an interesting side-by-side of the dual filament idea with the added flashing lamp idea, only from the standpoint of, is the second or the extra lamp at all even necessary, or would it just make more sense to pick a cruise lamp and add another filament? So I'm trying to be as apples to apples as I can by the placement of the dual filament lamp in this case. Certainly, like I said, you could use a dual cruise lamp model, and you could have dual filamented lamps in both or just one. But in this case, this is a side-by-side of the hacked or edited beacon that I had previously gone over, and my attempt to create the same effect but with only a single bulb, as some people suggested. So this will run through dome on, dome off, slow-mo, normal, strobe on top of cruise, strobe on top of flashing, just flashing, and kind of give you an idea of how this stacked up. Again, though, keep in mind that I did just add the flashing lamp to the rear in this case intentionally, so that it would be a more fair competition with the other beacon. So there's some rear footage later here that kind of shows the footprint or the hot spot of the lamp. I think the dual filamented version, the flashing filament being raised up, helps it. I think the base level sort of nature of the original or the hacked version with the extra bulb kind of puts the flashing lamp off-centered, and it doesn't do as good a job. So I think overall the dual filament idea would work better. If I were going to use it in any real capacity, I would probably do it to a 2 cruise light model and give the treatment to both cruise lamp bulbs. And I also might consider lowering the cruise light a little bit, not as far as the base like on the separate bulb model, but because the bulbs with dual filaments are taller, I think I would lower the position of the cruise lamp so the filament is more on level with the focal point of the dome, like the cruise lamps are supposed to be. Because this is a different bulb and it's taller, it kind of moved the placement of the cruise lamp and therefore the flashing lamp. So I think if I could lower the dual filament bulb and add a second one, I think we would have something that works really well. I'm not going to do that because I don't really need a lamp or a beacon with these specifications. This is more of a curiosity build, but I think with 2 dual filament bulbs and both of them lowered slightly to put their filaments at the level where the filament of a regular cruise would be, I think the dual filament idea is by far the better of the two. So for those of you that suggested that, yes, I think it would be smarter just to do dual filamented bulbs rather than put a whole extra socket for a whole extra bulb in one of these lights. I'm not sure why the previous user did this. I don't think it was factory. I could be wrong, but I am not really sure why they didn't just do dual filamented cruise lights. I think this shows that that probably would have been a smarter choice. One thing this doesn't show is the beacon on the left does have the ability to flash the cruise lamps against the extra lamp, which really doesn't show up at all, and you can look at my first video for that. But it's really not a feature that I think is worth much, so I don't think that would be the selling point. The cruise lamps barely even dim enough in between. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this comparison of the idea you guys came up with, and like and subscribe. Thanks.